Hey agents, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into Yi Xuan, the serene but deadly S-rank Ether Rupture agent, debuting in ZZZ 2.0. She's elegant, devastating, and honestly, one of the most unique characters we've seen so far. Whether you're eyeing her for meta reasons or just love her vibe, this guide will break down everything, her playstyle, builds, team comps, and what makes her so satisfying to play. Let's break her down and see if she belongs in your squad. Let's talk about Yi Xuan's lore. Yi Xuan arrives as part of the Lonely Wayfarer Beyond banner, running from June 6th to June 25th. She's from the Yunkwai Summit faction and serves as its 13th High Preceptor. Basically, she's a martial arts sage with an ether twist. Her student is Ju Fufu, another new agent in this patch, and their master-apprentice relationship adds a great narrative flavor. What is a Rupture agent? Now, before we dig into numbers, let's talk about what it means to be a Rupture agent. Yi Xuan is not your typical energy-based DPS. She doesn't use the standard energy gauge. Instead, she uses adrenaline, previously called flash energy. This is a separate gauge that powers her skills. Instead of charging an ultimate the usual way, Yi Xuan uses her X specials to build up magic stacks, previously called talismans. And once she hits enough, she gains access to a secondary ultimate, which in turn enhances her basic attacks. It's like a layered loop. Each step powers the next, and everything flows like a cycle of martial arts forms. How she deals. Damage. Her core damage type is sheer damage, a new mechanic that ignores enemy defenses. No def scaling, no resistance to worry about. If you've ever felt like your DPS was falling off against tanky enemies, sheer damage is your answer. This also means that she doesn't benefit much from Deef Shred or pen buffs. Yi Xuan's sheer force scales with her max HP, not ATK. So stacking HP isn't just for survivability, it directly increases her damage. The higher her HP, the harder she hits. That flips the script on typical DPS builds and opens up a new kind of min-maxing. Yi Xuan's core passive lets her scale sheer force from HP at a base rate of 0.1 per point of HP. She starts battles with max adrenaline and passively regenerates it. She also regenerates adrenaline by performing perfect dodges, 5 points each. This encourages a precise rhythmic playstyle. Dodge at the right moment, land your X special, trigger your ultimate, and ride the wave of meditation that follows. Here's her combat flow in simple terms. Start with X specials to spend adrenaline and build magic value stacks. Accumulate enough stacks, and she unlocks her enhanced ultimate. Activate the ultimate, summoning a giant Tai Chi sphere that deals ether and sheer damage and regenerates adrenaline. Follow up with her enhanced EX basic, Wing Explosion, which detonates the sphere and pushes her into extreme vision, a burst mode where her damage spikes. She also creates smaller versions of this sphere through normal attacks, useful for adrenaline regeneration when you're in downtime between big bursts. This whole process turns into a loop. Generate adrenaline, EX, magic value, ultimate, enhanced basic, meditate, repeat. Let's look at her Mindscape Cinema. These are the unlockable passives from duplicates. M1 adds a Thunderbolt effect after any team attack, dealing 70% of her sheer force as ether damage and generating adrenaline. M2, when using her ultimate, it ignores 25% of enemy ether resistance and adds stun extension. Works great if paired with stun agents. M4 grants stacks of benefit when using ultimate. Each stack increases the damage of her next EX special by 40%. M6, every 20 adrenaline consumed adds 1 stack of magic value. After using her ultimate chain, the number of stacks consumed determines how many Thunderbolt strikes she fires, up to 8. That's 600% sheer force damage as ultimate damage. It's cinematic and it hits like a truck. Let's talk about W engines. Her signature W engine is a must-have if you want peak performance. 743 base, ATK top tier, plus 30% max HP, plus 20% crit rate. When using EX special, gain 2 stacks that each give plus 8% ether damage and plus 10% ether sheer damage, lasting 15 seconds. It's perfectly tailored for her. It scales her damage, keeps her crit rate reliable, and boosts sheer and ether simultaneously. No other engine comes close in synergy. If you can't get her signature, some solid A-rank alternatives. Walk on the Radio, Battle Pass. Plus 25% HP, boosts crit damage and EX damage. Extra bonus if enemies are under 50% HP. Rubik's Sphere, craftable. Increases ATK and adds sheer force stacks. It's weaker because it scales off ATK, not HP, but it's good for budget builds. Use these until you can grab her signature engine, especially if you're F2P or low spender. Let's talk about Drive Dis. Best set by far is the new Yunkwai Tales. 2-piece, plus 10% max HP, 4-piece, EX, chain, ult skills. Give plus 4% crit rate, stacks 3 times for a max of plus 12%. At full stacks, sheer damage is increased by 10%. It's custom built for her. HP scaling, consistent crit, and sheer boost. But if you're still farming it, here are some solid substitutes. 2P Woodpecker plus 2P Branch and Blade, plus 8% crit rate and plus 16% crit damage. Chaotic Metal, plus 10% ether damage, 2-piece. 4-piece gives more crit damage based on corruption triggers. Mix and match depending on your stats and team synergy. Her stat priorities are main stats, slot 4, crit rate or crit damage, balance based on your build. Slot 5, ether damage or HP percent. Slot 6. HP percent. Substats, HP percent crit rate. Crit damage HP is king for Yi Xuan. Everything else just amplifies that. Let's talk about team synergy and comps. Yi Xuan thrives with stun and support agents. Her kit rewards frequent chain attacks and burst windows, so you'll want allies who help enable that. Astra Yao. Still one of the best supports. Heals, crit buffs, off-field damage. She fits in nearly every competition. Pan Yinhu. Great FTP option. Provides healing and sheer force boosts through his passive. Ju Fufu. High synergy with Yi Xuan due to chain timing and off-field sub-DPS potential. If you pull her together, they're a dream team. Lighter. Trigger. For stun-based support, helping extend her ultimate duration and trigger more thunderbolts from M2/M6. Let's talk about her rotation. She's got that meditative burst vibe. You're not mashing skills, you're dancing through them. Her flow is about control, generate adrenaline, line up the EX special, use the ultimate, go into enhanced state, then back off to recharge. Perfect dodges aren't just defense, they're part of her energy loop. Playing her well means reading the enemy, knowing when to go in and keeping that rhythm. She doesn't just dish out numbers, she feels good to play. Every hit has weight, and the burst windows are super satisfying when you time them right. Should you pull her? Here's the question. Should you pull Yi Xuan? If you enjoy calculated, rhythmic burst characters who reward smart timing, she's amazing. If you already have good supports like Astra or Yinhu, she slides right into your team. She's also meta-proof, thanks to sheer damage. But if you prefer fast-paced, spammy characters or can't commit to mastering X rotations, you might be better off waiting. And that's the complete breakdown of Yi Xuan, the meditative master who turns calm into carnage. Build her with HP, nail your X timing, and let her Tai Chi storm obliterate your enemies. If you found this guide helpful, drop a like, subscribe for more Zenless Zone Zero deep dives, and let me know in the comments what team you're running her with. I'd love to hear your rotations and tricks. Thanks for watching. Until next time.